We all have a right to defend freedom and to have equality, said by a transgender veteran named Jennifer Moore. And this is my table of contents. So my purpose is to discuss to highlight the important facts about transgender individuals not being allowed to serve in civil service activities such as military. And I will also be discussing the discrimination they face on a daily basis. As high school students coming of age, many of us are interested in going to the military, and I think that discussing the transgender not being allowed in the military is just some things that you should know before you go in. And a lot of you don't know about the transgender ban not being allowed in the military, so we will be discussing it. So what is the transgender ban exactly? The transgender ban is the restriction of transgender individuals allowed to serve in any military. A lot of people may not be aware of transgender community being banned because transgender community is being overlooked because they're probably one of the biggest minorities. According to Bloomberg Media, Donald Trump has been trying to order a ban against the transgender community since 2017, but was blocked in court. But in 2018, he proposed a new idea with the same rules and expectations. So basically, last year he tried to get a ban against the transgender community from being in military, but in 2018 he proposed the same thing, except he had new ideas and new regulations that he wanted to propose. So on July 26, 2017, this is the tweet that he put out saying, after a consultation with my generals, the military experts, please be advised the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the United States military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that the transgender in the military would entail. So basically, the reason why he does not want transgender people in the military is because that their whole transition surgery costs a lot, which $8.4 million for all the transgender individuals to get their surgeries. According to Rancourt, the care for transgender people in the military will add up to $8.4 in the total medical costs of all active duty service members. That's a little more than 0.1% of what the military spends on medical care for all service members. To put in perspective, it's about 0.14% of Donald Trump's total defense budget proposal. So basically, what they spend on military for all service members is nothing compared to what they would spend to transgender individuals. So the transgender community has faced more discrimination than just not being allowed to serve in the military. They also experienced discrimination because they wanted to use the restroom that they identify as, and they couldn't because people felt uncomfortable with the fact that transgender people are going into those restrooms, and basically they were discriminated against from using public restrooms with the gender they identify as. And for us, people who are cisgender, basically what cisgender person is somebody who identifies with the gender that they were born with. We don't have to deal with those problems that they do because we are cisgender. Basically what this is saying, just to sum it up, is that this is the law they're explaining about transgender not being allowed to use the restroom they identify as. They have to use the restroom as the birth certificate, the gender that's on their birth certificate, and the debate between the public restroom and being banned to participate.
Can I be quiet? We can hear y'all.
So how it affects the community, many transgender individuals felt discriminated against, and they felt like some of their rights were being taken away. And this was a protest that happened last year about transgender individuals being allowed to show, and it's just signs that they were protesting, saying let's let transgender troops continue to protect us, and heroes come in all genders. So there was an interview with a journalist and the transgender individual that we discussed in the beginning of the presentation. Basically, she says that we all have a right to defend freedom and have equality. Transgenders have been able to serve openly since 2011. About 18 nations allow them to serve openly. She thinks that no matter what gender you identify as, you should have the same rights as someone who is cisgender, and that is very true. No matter what your gender is, you should be allowed to have the same rights as anybody else. And this was the person that she interviewed. This is before and after the transition. She had her transition.
Pardon the interruption. Joshua Scott, Mark One
Later,
Mustafa Sobey, Javon Richardson, Michael Moreland, Kennedy,
and according to
Macy, Ariane Jackson, and Jalen Kane to Ms. Mayo's desk.
according to Bloomberg Media, there is
Also, the following ambassadors to Dr. Hennessy's office: Diana, Elaine, Miriam, Sunjoy, and Javon Richardson. Thank you.
according to Bloomberg Media, there are about 15,500 active transgender individuals in the military out of 1.3 million troops and 130,000 transgender veterans today. And this is just a diagram showing how many of each are in there. And to conclude, I'm just saying that lawmaking against transgender community is not benefiting the United States or the transgender community. Many people are not aware of the transgender ban because of the minorities that they are, and banning of the public restrooms and joining the military are examples of discrimination they face, and is an act of political discrimination. And that's my work.